The National Flood Insurance Program was $25 billion in the red before any of the major hurricanes that we saw this year. Now it's going to be even worse. And as we know, hurricane season is not over yet. Tropical Storm Nate is headed right toward the Gulf Coast at this time. A lot of people there saying, I hope this doesn't come, including people with the National Flood Insurance Program. Alex Miller has been digging into their finances today and its future. So the basic problem, as with anything really, is you have to take in at least as much money as you're paying out. They're not doing that, and some Congress members have ideas.
Yeah, Congress members on both sides of the aisle are really trying to figure out the best way to move forward, and whether it's an environmentalist or someone who wants to have economic reform, they're saying regardless of where you stand on the issue, what they're doing right now in the flood insurance program is not working.
Think about it like this. You move into a beautiful home with oceanfront views, but because you can see the water from your home, you know you're prone to flooding. You've got to get flood insurance, but you really only have one option, and it's a government program.
This space is owned by the federal government.
And that program, the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, is struggling. On average, it collects nearly $3.5 billion in premiums each year, but it costs $5 billion to run. That's a $1.5 billion difference. Congressman Sean Duffy says part of the problem with funding the NFIP is that data changes, but costs don't.
The way the program is structured, if you get a national flood insurance policy, an NFIP policy, and you're assessed at a certain risk, and all of a sudden the data changes and they change the map and want to move you to a higher risk zone, you get grandfathered in.
That means if your home is deemed even riskier than before, you don't have to pay more, but the taxpayer does. Duffy thinks that needs to change, and the space should be opened up to the private markets too.
But with modern technology, insurance companies can look at water flow, they can look at elevations, and they can better assess risks.
The problem is that many of the flood zones have not been properly mapped. He and Democratic Congressman Earl Blumenauer are calling on FEMA to update flood maps and keep all related information up to date. Another joint proposal would seek to move people off of beachfront properties.
If your home continually floods, maybe what we should do, if it's in the benefit of the program, we should offer to buy your house. Let's help you get out of this home and get to a safer home. The taxpayer saves money because we're not going to repetitively pay for claims on a property that's highly flooded.
And these claims happen. One such instance involves a home in Mississippi worth $69,000. Politico reports it flooded 34 times in 32 years and produced $633,000 in payouts. Duffy says he visited with a family in Houston recently whose home was completely destroyed in the hurricane.
We should tell that homeowner, listen, this is not the best place to live. You've flooded 3 times in the last 8 years. Maybe we should help you go to a safer place on higher ground.
Thousands of people are being paid as much or more than their property is worth. Because of that, there's little incentive to move or even better protect the home they're in. The Unlikely Duo says the fix is to stop paying people to repeatedly build these properties.